and a competitive product Z to remove crude oil from the wall of a beaker in a vapor phase state, to which we're going to simulate by putting the two beakers into a bath of water and bringing up the temperature, so we get a little bit of steam, a little bit of water vapor mixing and condensing and running down the wall of the beaker. This will be, I think, an interesting visual demonstration to show the differences between two products and how vapor phase might work inside of a vessel, a column, fractionator, etc. Applying a coating of crude on the inside of this beaker, trying to get it as uniform as we can on both beakers. A little more. I'm trying to get a smooth, even coat that are equal on both beakers for visual purposes. There. Now we're going to put equal amounts of Z in Z flask, as same amount in the JPX flask, putting in the JPX, of course. Okay, now we've got the saran wrap and the rubber band on the top, and we'll put them into the bath and see what occurs. This is the Z product, and here we have the JPX product, equal amounts in the beaker, with as close as we can get it to a representative amount of crude wiped onto the side of each beaker. We're going to let them sit and watch the vaporization take place. You can see the materials have been sitting in the bath, warming up temperature slowly. Been in there about 2 minutes now. And there's a little bit of movement starting to occur. Alright, now you can see we've got a little bit of vaporization going on. We're going to pop the saran and over here, and you can see we're starting to get some action. Material is starting to condense on the walls, move down, and you can see the difference in the action between the JPX and the Zymeflow, product Z, and we'll continue to watch. Alright, we've been in here now 4 minutes, and we're not quite up to boiling in the bath yet, but you can see what's happening. The JPX material is stripping the crude off the walls, floats it off, breaks it up into an emulsion, and moves it down the wall, where it seems to rinse down just by the condensate itself. It's a pretty marked demonstration difference between the effectiveness of the products. Not only the JPX very much more effective, but the price is approximately half of what our competition is with the Z product. 5 minutes, and you see the bath is still not boiling, but we're getting enough vaporization within the beaker to make it count. Well, we're going to take these off now and put them over here on paper so you can see what kind of an emulsion we have in the bottom. We'll swirl this one around. This is the JPX. And here we have the Z product. We'll swirl it around, and you can see it beads up but doesn't form an emulsion like the JPX does. And we'll let them cool down, and that'll be our reference. Again, the JPX over here, and here we have the Z product. Now what we're going to do is take two tiles, one we labeled JPX, here the Z, and we're going to add a drop of crude, hopefully just a drop, to each one of these, and then a drop of FCC slurry oil. And then we're going to add crude to that. Okay, here comes the slurry oil, very sticky. Yeah, what we get here, I'm going to have to work that around a little bit. And here's that slurry oil. Smear it around a little. Ooh, likewise over here. And you can see we've got a couple of good spots to work on. Now what we're going to do is put drops of JPX over there and some drops of Z over here, and check the rinsability after we let the material work on the on the samples. Rinsability is very important in cleaning out the columns after we do a steam JPX injection. We rinse, take all the hydrocarbon out, the bottom that's accumulated from the condensate rushing down the walls. Here goes the Z sitting on it. JPX sitting on it. Alright, now we'll let those sit just a little bit and see what happens, see how this breakdown comes, and then we'll try rinsing in the big bucket behind us. Under these so we can get a little bit of a slope to see if that makes any difference in terms of tending to run. Alright, you notice on the both samples the JPX is emulsifying and like a brown coffee type stain running off. On the Z, the material both on the crude and the FCC slurry oil, the Z is just about run off of the samples now. So now we'll put these in the bucket and see what happens, and we'll apply a little bit more of the product to each one. In the rinse, I have the JPX in my left hand, the Z on my right, and we'll swish them around a little bit. And see what we get. I'm still rinsing, shaking, giving it the best that I can, the hand rinse in cold tap water. And here we are, we're taking them out, and you can see that the JPX, the crude sample is completely rinsed off. The slurry oil is starting to move off, but there's still some left of that. And over on the Z side, crude remains about half of it, and the slurry likewise. Another application would result in some more removal, so we'll give that another shot. Okay, what I'm going to do now is take my finger and just kind of goo it around a little bit more so we can get a grip on each one. Here, the slurry oil is very sticky. I'll take my other finger and work that crude around a little bit on the Z side. Now I'm going to put the JPX on. And one spot to put it on here. And now we're going to put the Z product on. We'll give it a covering all over the crude side and a covering on the slurry oil from the FCC unit. And we'll sit back and wait again. Alright, now we've let these two tiles sit for about 15 minutes with a second application of the JPX and the Z on the spots. Now we're going to put them in the bucket again and see what we get when we rinse them off. So here we go. JPX in my left hand, Z in my right. Give them the old squish, rattle, shake, rattle, and roll. Now we're working. Again, this is cold water and a cold application. So, I think that's enough. Yep, we take them out and let's see what we got here. You can see the JPX still has a little slight ring of the slurry oil, which is very sticky, sticking there, and the Z still has the crude in the left-hand corner and the slurry oil on the right. So rinsability is the key thing, and JPX has it all over the Z product. Again, we think it performs it markedly, and the price is always about half. So the most efficient, use JPX. We're still rinsing away here just to see if we can get the last of this off.